We are live. Hello, friends. Hello, Captain.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Harami. Good evening, Nisha, and all the viewers.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's so nice to be back.
Yes.
So nice to see you back with another beautiful subject.
After a gap of almost 2 months, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a really tough 2 months, that's for sure. For us getting back into training, trying to do our simulator checks and studies and exams and so on. So it's nice to have something to do and something to look forward to, actually. It's filling up the schedule, which is nice.
We already start to get messages specifically about your look, I guess.
I got a message from Phil saying this is not the captain I know.
He sent me a message. Said, "What the hell did you do to my captain?"
Phil. I was also saying the same thing to captain.
Yeah, the problem is that with the long beard, we cannot have the oxygen mask on, and it will leak. So it's better to keep it short.
Okay.
Great.
So I think we have Venki also with us.
Yes.
Winky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great guy. Great guy. New toy.
All right. So yeah, I think there are so many hi hellos to you, Captain. I think great. So Captain is an amazing photographer, and I mean, I was really lucky that we had some great time in Dimara, and to be honest, miss you and the fun we had. So once he was back in.
Since then, I've been dreaming about every second. I've been reliving it, and every time I watch a documentary about Muslim or any wildlife or safari, I can't believe I was actually there.
Let's catch up again. Yeah, it's now it's my turn to go back. So even I'm kind of feeling bad to saying back to Masai Mara is one of the hardest thing which I feel for myself. So I can imagine how hard it is for everybody. So once Captain was back in Dubai, he was doing some, I don't know, he got a new girlfriend. Should I say it as a girlfriend?
Yeah, we all say that.
With my wife's permission.
Okay, he got a beautiful blue girlfriend with his wife's permission, and Captain is going to share his journey with his new toy, with his new girlfriend, with his about his life in Dimara in Kudra.
Who is very much interested only in fish.
The sushi eater,
yeah.
Wonderful.
So what was the beginning, what was the thought of this particular project, Captain? Thought behind?
As you know, due to the pandemic, most of our friends and all the photographers, we've been out doing some wildlife photography and bird photography and nature photography. And we almost covered all the species. But for me, this project, I like to come up with a project so it will challenge my skills and stimulate my creativity, and it makes me focus on one subject and try to nail it to almost perfection. Instead of going around and waiting for the subjects to be photographed, I thought maybe I will just concentrate on one bird that I happened just to photograph because I just saw her sitting on this little pipe and it was this tiny, and I never had the picture that I wanted. So I wanted to improve that to the level that I end up getting at the end of the project. So as you know, Kingfisher is very hard to find in Dubai.
Yes.
Al Qudra is 450 square kilometers of land, and I would say there's only 6 sightings that I have confirmed, 3 on one side and 3 on the other side toward the Love Lake. So for me, it was a challenge. I like challenge. All the guys, ask Binky, I like challenges. My previous challenge was crow, because no matter which angle you photograph the bird, is always in a silhouette. So I wanted to get the right exposure, getting close to them. So that was one project, and then I moved on to the next one and tried to challenge myself. So Kingfisher was the biggest challenge. Finding them was very hard. Spotting them, and as you know, they don't have a regular pattern. So one day they will show up 16 times, another day they don't show up at all. So it's hard to drive around and spot one and knowing that this bird will be there tomorrow. So I've been documenting them. So I started right after the Mara. So early January, I started scouting and taking notes and where the spots sighting were, and then slowly start creating a map of where they were and narrowing them down. Start calling the every landing zone the LZ Alpha, LZ Bravo, LZ Charlie, like they used to do back in Vietnam War with the helicopter pads. So we start mapping the activities, and then you basically go scout, and you just go sit there and hoping that she will show up on landing zone Alpha. And if she does, maybe it will be only for a few seconds, and you're not sure if she's going to just sit there, or she's going to dive, or she's going to fly, what she's going to do. So that's why it took a long time. It's all the log. It's over 1,800 hours. Some of our colleague photographers back in the UK, they're pretty lucky. They can go just to a river, and there's always a sighting there, and they can get all the shots, the dive shots, the portrait shots, the flying shots, all in one day. For us, it's hit and miss. So basically, it took a long time, because spending a lot of time, a day on one landing zone, not showing up, but not giving up on it, knowing that maybe this is the day doesn't show up, maybe she will come back tomorrow. So then slowly narrowing it down to exactly where we knew the most activities were.
You think the Osprey was much easier?
At least the Osprey, they come at certain time, they leave at certain time, and they have a season for it, and they have a certain habit that they do. With Kingfisher, maybe some other guys are more expert. I'm not an expert at it. It's so hard to pinpoint exactly what they do. Like some birds, as soon as they shake their tail, they're going to fly. With Kingfisher, you don't know. Yeah. 1 second she's there, next second she's flying. So you're getting ready for portrait shots, and all of a sudden she's flying. So now you have to change into fast shutter speeds and different activities. So it was very challenging. Very challenging. Narrowing her down was one thing, then taking picture of her was another thing. So the project took, as I said, over since almost every day. Maybe I had 1 or 2 days off between. Started at 5 o'clock in the morning all the way until 6 o'clock in the evening. So almost every day, in a very hot tent. So the key was to be patient. So I do have some kind of a checklist. No, that's my pilot mentality that I have. Everything has to be organized. Everything has to be in the checklist way. So I do have a way of looking at things. I'm sure a lot of photographers, my good friends, they end up achieving the same result. And they just do it naturally. Or for me, it needs to be written down. It needs to be done by step, so I can organize it and narrow it down to the target that I want. So by far, this is not the right way of doing it. This is just my way of doing it, and this is the way I kind of visualize the whole project and try to get to the result that I want. So again, a disclaimer: I'm not a photographer that should be teaching others. It's just, this is what I know, so I'm just going to share it. And as I said in my post, the pinnacle of this project, the highlight of this project, is to share it with everyone. So the experience of capturing the project and also the images that I got.
I have a question. What
Yes.
made you call this Elizabeth?
Oh, actually, Elizabeth she was named Elizabeth. Phil came up with the name.
Okay. Okay, so I should ask this question to Phil next time.
Phil came up with the name, and it really suits her. I mean, she acts like a royalty, and so Elizabeth was the
Okay, Queen Elizabeth. Okay.
very nice name for her. And then we spotted the other ones, and we maintain the same niche. You know, we went into Queen Elizabeth, then we to Princess Charlotte and King Arthur. That's how I came up with the Elizabeth. So
Great.
So if you don't mind, I will share my screen now and this presentation. I would say this presentation will take approximately 25 to 30 minutes. Then I have a short clip at the end, and then I'm open to all the questions now.
Yeah,
great.
Guys,
so Arun is asking, where is Captain?
I'm right here. I'm right here.
That's a big question.
Okay, so
I think everybody misses his beard.
Yeah, I am definitely missing it. You look completely like a different person. I don't know you.
my wife said, "Grow it back, instant." Okay, do you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have it. It says shared already.
Not yet.
Okay, let me cancel that and start again.
Yeah. One more hello from Akhil.
Great guy.
He's saying wise decision to grow the beard back.
You have this.
Anup is saying Phil is from UK and Elizabeth is his queen.
No, yeah, I'm still not able to see the screen.
How about now?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. I think Aaron just sent me my own picture of of the screen here. Great, wonderful guys. A lot of good guys around. Okay, do you see the screen now?
We can see,
but there are.
Cool. Yeah, now it's fine.
It's perfect.
Okay, so here's Elizabeth. As you know, the red bottom part of the bill represents the female, and that's the only difference between male and female. Male has got the black underneath, and if there are any other signs, I don't know about. So this is the only sign that I know between male and female. The color of the claws are representing the juvenile and adult. She's an adult by now. In summary, so the reason behind the project, I mentioned that it was challenging for me, and I wanted to go from the pictures that I had from Kingfisher all the way to the pictures that I was actually looking forward to get and add to my portfolio. So these are the ones and the reasons for it. I'm a big fan of making pictures versus taking pictures. So we'll talk about that. The cycle of process and cycle of life of an image, and project challenges and failures, projects goals and objective, and at the end, I will try to answer any of the questions that the guys may have. Passion for birds. They're just beautiful to watch. At times, actually, 3/4 into the project, I had to actually put the camera down and just watch her. At the beginning, it wasn't like that. Beginning was, oh my God, Kingfisher, I gotta take a picture. Now she looked left, I took a picture. She looked right, I took a picture. She looked up. Everything. That's why I ended up with the 7,500 images of her. But after 3-4 months, it was just beautiful being able to get so close to her. She was very comfortable with us in the hide, and just watching her and her behavior, just beautiful. So I think you need to have a passion. It's not the passion of photography, but passion of nature and wildlife actually makes it happen. Personal challenge, I talked about that, improve my photography, and I will show you at the end what the before and after was. And targeted skills, so being able to do utilize all my skills, my equipment, my knowledge, everything that I know about photography, try to capture the picture that is correct and well exposed, the composition, the color, the mood, the story, all of that. So it was that was the whole reason behind the project. So what I have this circle of mental thoughts and checklist for my pictures. So it needs to have passion and a knowledge and education. It's not just going around taking a picture of a bird. You need to know about your species. You need to know about the behavior, the wildlife, the environment that she lives and how she reacts to it. So education is a big thing, a big key behind it, and knowledge, and obviously the passion. Being patient. You need to be patient with Kingfisher. You cannot drive around and take a picture of Kingfisher. It takes a long time, hours and hours in a hot, humid sun, in a plastic tent in a hide, and just waiting for her to show up. It takes a lot of patience. I don't think it's for everyone. You need to have the previous item, which is passion, in order to endure the pain. Vision. Having a vision of exactly what I'm actually after and what I want. I use that vision from other guys' photography, not using them as an example we're trying to achieve, but an idea and inspiration, and also getting excited about getting toward that type of photography, that type of images with my own style. Planning is a big thing. Equipment and props. Not 100% is the key. You can take a great picture with any equipment. Some people do it at 30 frames per second. You can ask Vinky about that. I have to pan, so that's the difference. Props, I still use, and guys are actually making fun of it. I use my Christmas tree stands as a tripod, and it works. So equipment and prop is the big thing, and mistakes. Being able to understand your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and try to go back and do the whole cycle again. So that's basically is my checklist for making a picture versus taking a picture. Here's the patient, here I am in different camouflages and tent, and even sleeping at night, trying to get an early sighting before disturbing the environment and the habitat. So it is, and mosquitoes. I actually got bitten by centipede, and it was very painful. So as I said, it requires a lot of patience. Not necessarily is the reason behind a good picture, but it really helps. Increases your chances, basically. Vision. Here's my drawings. From planning a floating hide in all the way down to where we're gonna try to target some fish for her to dive, forcing her to dive, capturing fish, buying fish. So this is all the drawings, and we had. So this is the vision basically behind the idea, and that's what we used. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. So and some of them actually led us into different ideas. Planning. As you can see here, everything was documented. For example, February 22nd, I started at 6 o'clock. I was alone. I call it headquarters, were the area of the main area that all the landing zones were. We call it the headquarters. So you can see 755 on the pipe, 3 dive shots, 811 on the branch, so on and so on. So every day was documented right down to the minutes and exactly what she did. And we tried to put it into a graph, try to see a pattern. But as I said, the pattern wasn't there. Yes, the general activities were mostly during the evening or early in the morning. But again, some days she showed up in the middle of the day and she was active during the day. She was doing all the dives during the day. So, but we tried. Everything was documented and tried to visualize her activity. What I have, when I have an idea for a project, for an image, so I have these 3 things, which goes in a cycle. The concept and idea, so I have to have a concept, what I want, what I'm actually looking to get, and all the previous items that I mentioned actually includes into the concept and the idea. Then how I'm going to execute it, what camera I'm going to use. I'm going to use high frame rates, low frame rates, big lens, short lenses, all different, how I'm going to execute the project. And post-production. So I think the post-production is part of any photography, not necessarily, I would say it's the icing cake, icing on the cake, but not the cake itself. And I believe that the post-production should complement the subject, but not replace the subject. So you shouldn't be lying about the subject. I don't need pixels. If there's a bang sticking out, I will remove that, but I will not change anything to the subject itself. It should basically amplify the picture. I always said you can only improve an image up to the point that you press the shutter. Everything after that is a presentation. So once that is done, then I execute and I take a picture. So it comes to 2 scenarios. Either the picture is failed, and then I ask myself why. Was it the concept wrong? Was it the execution wrong? Or was it the post-processing damaged the image? So depending what of the process affected the image to be failed, in my view, then I will go redo that part, improve that part, and maybe different approaches, learn from the mistakes, and go back, execute again. And if it is successful, then it will go into the life cycle that I call, which is sharing it, printing it, sharing it on the media, turning it into a book, bringing the concept, the idea, and your vision all the way down to reality that everybody can actually appreciate. So that is my checklist. So, for example, this picture here is here's Elizabeth on early part of the project. This was on landing zone Charlie. Even though it's nice, I like the pose, I like the web, I like the dew on the web. So all of that was actually very nice. But I wasn't happy with the bouquet. The bouquet was, even though this was shot at the f2.8 with the 800 mil. Sorry, f5.6 with the 800 mil, but I wasn't happy with the bouquet. The bouquet was too busy, and so when I went back to the checklist, the execution was the reason for that image to fail. So I went back and tried to improve on the same pose but a different bouquet, and it came up with that. Still better than the previous one, similar pose. But the background, it's nice and creamy and nice bouquet. The color, the highlights actually complement the subject. But again, it's not what I wanted. Again, back to the drawing board. What was the reason? It wasn't the concept. It wasn't the post-production. It was the execution. So back again, try, and finally, I nailed what I wanted. So now this is the background that I want. It wasn't busy. There's no harsh highlights or deep shadows. It's just mellow, quiet, and she's posing. And while she was actually, she's pumping her neck, up and down while she's scanning the water. So between that, she looked up and looked like she just came out of the gym. So now I can say that the project, that this image was completed. Now it can go into life cycle and be shared and be enjoyed by everyone.
Was this shot on 800 milli?
This one was with actually 400 f2.8.
Okay.
This one. And similar thing. So now that I actually learned the concept, so basically I improved my skills. So now the idea is not to nail it once. Being able to do it again and again and again and again was the new objective. So again, being able to position yourself at the right time. The background here right now is the water reflection. So, and the right side is actually a big trunk of a tree. So, but being able to move back, and we always want to get closer to Kingfisher, but being able to move back and make that background creamy and try to pop the subject. And so now the same objective now continues to the next image, and I managed to maintain that throughout different poses. So basically, I consider that as a pass. Here's King Arthur, the male one that we had. He only came 3 times, managed to photograph him only once. Really hoping to get him with Elizabeth or the other female, but that never. Had 2 females together. We had fly formations and flybys together, and even fights that one of them end up in the water between the 2 females, but not between King Arthur. So here's the big guy himself, and as you can see, the background is exactly that's what I wanted. And this is the other female. She's almost 1/3, actually no, half of Elizabeth's size. This is Princess Charlotte, again named after, yeah, Phil named her Elizabeth Charlotte. Actually, all these names were named by Phil. She's very active. She's very she's got different habits. She likes to dive from way up. About 5-6 meters up. She goes up on the tree and she dives straight down, versus Elizabeth likes to go really low and she dives at the low level. So, and she is absolutely beautiful, and she's very nice to photograph. She's very comfortable with the photographer as well. At one point, I was maybe 2-3 meters away from her, and the wind blew my hide off, and I was completely exposed, and she was very comfortable, and she just sat there. Here's Elizabeth again. And again, the background, the different pose, and I mean, 7,500 different shots of Kingfisher. There's so many beautiful pictures, but I thought I'd just share some of them with you guys. And then try different mood with the dark background, sun. The problem was where she was sitting. We had light right around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock until 9:30ish, where the light was pretty harsh. But she would sit under the shade, and we didn't have any. Even though we had the light, but we didn't have the light for her. So basically, going back to the drawing again. Where was the problem? Was it the execution? Was the location? Was the prop? So we moved the branch, hoping that she will get used to a new branch, and maybe she will sit on that where the light is actually shining on her. And this is the result. So the background is still dark and black, and as you can see, that white area on the left side, that could have been removed by a Photoshop. It's part of her environment. This is the storytelling. So I just left it there. Again, this is King Arthur deep in the branches, including the environment. Again, not going all the way just for the subject itself, trying to include as much as I can with the surrounding, and maybe that will tell the story better. This one was just very lucky. It was a pretty windy day. The branches were going back and forth. Right between the branches, the leaves were moving away, the sun hitting, and I managed to get this one. I think I got the 5 shots of the exact same thing, but I really like the way it's the spotlight.
The spotlight, yeah.
And she spent a lot of time cleaning herself. She's very
neat and clean.
Again, yeah, different mood. Now, if you notice on this one here, she looks greenish, and on this one she looks bluish. First, again, back to the drawing point and back to our checklist. What's the problem here? And we noticed. First we thought it was the white balance, and then we thought maybe is the camera, the Nikon color dynamic versus. I'm not going to mention other brands. It wasn't that. It's actually the light. Depending how the light shines on her, you may get or may get greenish. And I like both of them. They're both very nice.
Yeah.
And again, different mood. Again, cleaning. At one point, she came later in the evening, around 6, 7 o'clock, and she sat in front of us, and she slept the whole night with us beside our tent. So very intimate moment. Yeah, she spends a lot of time stretching, cleaning, and this is one of the poses that she does. This is Princess Charlotte, the young one. Again, she looks pretty blue here, but it just was the light. You can see here the background here was pretty busy, even though it's a nice bouquet. But I found it very busy. So to me, this would be not acceptable, and try to move on to some similar like this. And this one, the background is actually the water. It's a greenish water with the light shining on it at the end of the lake. Bird in Flight was the next project. This is a complete failure. I tried to pan, and there's some blurriness, motion blur, the wings, and even though you get so excited that you get a bird in flight, but it's just a total failure. So try to improve on that, and we managed to get something like this. And again, the background is nice. The contour on her back is nice. And again, all those try and errors and different ideas, and we came up to something that is acceptable.
What would be the settings you use for this?
This one, anything above 3200. Anything less than that, even this at the end of the wingtips still a little bit motion blur. And I also noticed that 5.6, you barely get her whole body in focus. So I started with 5.6, and as the light increased, I moved on to 7.1, and I stayed at 7.1. Then on the other side, I just increased the shutter speed. And I got to the point the shutter speed was just too high. Then I maintained the ISO. Then I moved all the way up to acceptable. For other projects, up to 6400 ISO, I'm okay. But for Elizabeth, for Kingfisher, anything above 3200, it wasn't good enough. So I tried to stay with 7.1. If I couldn't maintain 7.1, then I reduced it to 5.6 to the minimum of my lens. Then I adjusted the shutter speed. Once I reached the maximum of that, then I adjusted the ISO, and until I got to 2,500, 3,200, then I stopped this.
Okay.
So you get the same bouquet with 7.1?
This one, it was 7 point. So in order to get the right bouquet was just to go back, try to oscillate the subject from the background.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah. This is basically the pinnacle of the bird in flight shot for me.
Wow.
Then the next challenge wasn't just getting her in the air; it was actually getting her in the air with a fish. So
Amazing.
She's very active. You know, she eats. Sometimes she comes in very quiet. You can actually hear Kingfisher before she arrives, but if she comes in quiet, most of the time she's got fish. She catches fish somewhere else and she brings it to where we were.
And how about the dark background here?
The background here is bushes.
Okay.
Bushes. Yeah. This one, this is when she dives in and she comes back up, and this is just before landing. I mean, you have to realize she's actually this big. Right? She's not. She's very small actually. One was pretty interesting because it was early in the morning. I saw one Kingfisher on the perch to my left side, and I was really busy taking a picture of her. And I noticed it was the young one, the Princess Charlotte. Then I started hearing dive shots and dive sounds to my right, and I looked over. Here she was, Elizabeth, doing dives, and she was diving behind the branches. I couldn't focus on the dive, so I basically pre-focused on where she was, facing the other way on her back, and I just waited until she went down. She went back down and came back up, and I got her on the way back up. Here's this is Elizabeth again, and if you notice, they catch all these little fishes as well. I don't know. They use it. Yeah,
it's very tiny.
Very tiny as a snack. First, we thought she's just diving in for cleaning. She just dives to clean herself because it was a very short dive, and she would come back with no fish. But later on, we found out it's not only cleaning, but she also dives to catch small fishes as well. Here's again. This one is pre-focused on the branch, but manually focused beyond the branch. And as soon as you look out and you see her coming in, you just press the shutter and just try to get her before she lands. Because if you actually try, my D5 wouldn't track coming in because she's very tiny. The background is so busy, you wouldn't pick it up. And if you focus on a branch, then by the time she lands, she will be blurry. So the key was to actually focus beyond and try to catch her if she comes. And if you don't get it, maybe next day. Yeah. And this one, we learned that she tosses it up, and if she goes head in first, she will swallow it. If she goes tail in, then she will take it for the babies. She never did. But for us, it was always tossing and turning it around with the head in and just swallowed it. Here she is, and she bashes that fish, poor thing, against that branch several times before she actually swallowed. Some other kingfishers, what they do, they not only they bash the fish against a branch or a rock to kill the fish, but also to get the head off. But the common kingfisher, she doesn't take the head off; she just swallows it the way she is. And there's this is when she was actually heading it against the branch. Again, dive shot was the next thing for me. It's very difficult, and I give credit to a lot of guys that they actually managed to get the right dive shots. This one is a again because the brand is in the background, but I was just so excited that I managed to actually get something on the way down. And so this was a benchmark for me to go back to the checklist to see where the problem was, move around, try to move at an angle so I don't have the branches in the background. I knew the setting was right, maybe a little bit faster to get the wings also sharp, but I never managed to get the dive in, even though I kind of learned the way when she was diving, and I followed her all the way from beginning to the end and back up, and I always missed the part that she actually, just before she's heading the water. I got a lot of shots, but they're not blurry and not in focus. This one, these kind of shots I call blooming, like a blooming flower as she comes up. And the problem with these ones,
do you use tripod during these shots?
Say again?
Do you use tripod?
No, no. For all the dive shots, it was all manual because I don't have a tripod. I use my Christmas tree stand and a bean bag, and when I put the little big 600 or a 400 or a 800 on it, I notice when I move it to follow the subject, I'm actually moving the focus ring, and I was actually getting out of focus for all the shots. So I managed. I tried to do it manually with these ones, but no matter what I did, I got it just as she was going in, and I got all the shots, even though I'm doing 14 frames per second with D5, but I always missed the one that she was heading. And again, the subject is too small and it was too fast for the autofocus to track, so it was either pre-focus on the area that you think she's going to dive, and then she dives 4 centimeters ahead of it or 4 centimeters before it, then you manually focus a little bit closer, then she dives on the other side, and it just goes on and go around the circle until we get the one. And if you do get the one, most of the time the camera will pick up the water and will get focus on the water and not the actual subject itself. So this is another one.
It's an amazing one.
It's very nice. I didn't include the full frame of it because these were the one already on the Instagrams, and the guys are already familiar with it, so I thought I'd just include the actual crop here. And it's beautiful, and she's got a little bit drop of water on her eye as well. Here's another one there, the beautiful blooming. Sometimes they have such a small tail, and the tail is not mainly for directional or yaw control in flight. I mean, they do use it, but mainly is to use it as a big rudder to get their weight, get them launched right out of the water. And that's what they do. They actually throw themselves in the air, and once they get a little bit up in the air, then they start flying away. And sometimes tail, and they go up and they bounce back on their belly. Princess Charlotte was one every 3 dives. She would do that. She didn't have enough power to get herself out the water and fly straight up. But Elizabeth, straight up and off she went. This is Elizabeth again coming out. And another challenge with the dive shot was just to get the dive shot in case she shows up. Hopefully she will dive, and hopefully we can get the shots, and is focused and is in the right spot. And then the water, it's actually glossy and there's no junk on it. And that was a challenge. It was so much junk on the water, and if it was windy, then the water wasn't glossy. So again, next day, all of that was just to get the right environment for the dive shots. And that was
we have a request from Shiva Kumar. Please tell me the camera settings for these photos.
Okay. This one was a 1/4000 for sure. At 5.6 was because it was late in the evening, and just to be able to maintain the 4000, I had to drop it down to 5.6, and that's what with the 800 5.6. ISO 2000, 2500, 2000 on these ones. Anything above that, I didn't bother even looking at them. Even with the noise reduction applications, the noise reduction actually applies too much smoothness to the subject itself. So anything above 2500, 2000, I don't even bother. Anything less than 800 ISO, I don't even do denoising. Yeah, these are all 3200 to 4000. Actually, no, this one was at the 2500. This one is at the 2500. These were all at 3200 at the 7.1. And this is where she bounces. She comes up. She cannot continue up. So she bounces back on the belly, and she tries.
Oh, that's amazing. What a reflection.
Yeah. So what I have here, these are the, so basically the project started with main objective was to find the Kingfisher, then was photographing her, then was doing the portraits, and then was birding flights, then dive shots, and fish catching or fish eating, or then the next one was mating, which we never got. And unfortunately, we did a few more visits to our landing zones, and they're gone. Looks like they all migrated away. Yeah, there was no sighting at all. So what I would like to do for the guys, that whoever's watching, to get their camera, to phone and start their time watch. And I'm going to show a clip, and what I want you to do, I want you to start the time when she leaves the perch and stop the time when she comes back on the perch. You guys are ready? Okay. So, ready?
Yes.
Go. Stop.
Oh.
I had it at 1 point. I measured it at 1.23 of a second.
Yeah.
In 1.23, you need to get all the dive shots within that. So that's what the challenge was. I will play it again one more time. Ready again?
Yes.
Go for it.
Crazy.
What did you get?
This is unbelievable.
Oops, sorry. I think I closed it. Just a second, guys.
Yeah.
I closed
No problem.
documents.
That was too fast.
That journey was amazing. I mean, 1.23 seconds and the dive shot. Oh my God. That's really.
And she does it only once, and she only does it once in a day, and then you miss your opportunity until the next day. Or sometimes she comes in, she dives 19 times in front of you. There she is. So there's another shot after this. This is a slow motion. This was captured with the Nikon D850 at a slow motion mode. There it is. That's a 1.2 second. Okay, so did I achieve my objective from this project? I will show you. This was my first image of Elizabeth. So I managed, within that 6 months, I managed to go from this shot to this shot.
Wow.
Journey.
So it was a great journey. It was rough. It was fun. I learned a lot, and And I would like to take this time to thank Nikon for supplying all the logistical. They gave me the 800 5.6, and it was just too close. I tried the 400 2.8, and I tried the 600 f4, which I fell in love with. And also I tried the 500 as well. So thank Nikon for all of that. Without the zoom lenses, I couldn't get all the being able to go far enough, back enough to get the bouquet and get the subject big enough. The idea is to fill the frame as much as you can with the subject. But if you look at this shot, my single point focusing spot was the size of Elizabeth. 200 to 500. Yeah. All of that works. Okay. And thank you. Thanks for having this webinar so I can share and tell my story of Elizabeth. So
it was an amazing story.
That was awesome. Awesome.
That was awesome.
A real example of dedication.
Yes.
That's what it takes. I think that's what it takes to be able to get the shots. You need to have dedication, and you need to know that you can't give up, because one day she didn't show up. She will come back maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and maybe she will be more active. Maybe she will die. Maybe you will get her within that 1.23 of a second. So, so this is what photography is all about: being able to go from that shot to this, and also learn along the way, and being able to share it. And it was a sweet pain. Now I don't know what the next one is going to be. I have to see what the next project.
Yeah, we already got a question from Venki asking what is next.
I was thinking Fox. I was thinking Fox. This is the Fox season, so maybe Fox would be the next season. But with the flying starting soon, I have
very limited time.
Very limited time. I was thinking maybe just come down and visit Mara one more time before the whole.
Yeah.
But then, there's always other. We can. I don't believe in practice makes perfection. You can always better your best. You can always improve. All of these shots can be improved. I mean, and I don't compare my images with others. I look at theirs and see. I enjoy their skills and their style, and but I use that as my food for thought. Maybe I can try that. Maybe I can use that idea with my idea and mix it and come up with a new thing. So that's what photography is.
Right.
Again, we have a question from one more time, same question, like why is she named Elizabeth? Is there any peculiarity instead? From Radha Krishnan.
Well, I think we started with saying her Queen Majesty showed up, and that led into the royalty theme, and then Phil came up with Elizabeth, which I think no other name will suit her. I'm gonna miss her. She's already gone. She moved on, and I hope that I will be alive and she will be alive, so I can see her again next season. I look forward to maybe next season I can get her just before hitting the water.
You will. Yeah. And Phil is saying it's not a Kingfisher, it's a Queenfisher.
Queenfisher. She's a definite.
Carl Spielman watching from Christchurch, New Zealand. So happy I didn't miss it. Elizabeth and your photos.
Thank you very much, guys. It's nice to, as I said, this is the pinnacle part. This is the beauty of being able to share, and also getting the critics from the other photographers that why is it like that. I have no ego when it comes to photography. I do believe in one thing, though. If I want it to be blurry, if I wanted to not be in one rule of third, or this is the way I wanted it, I'm the king of this kingdom, I'm the god of this creation, this is the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to go against all the rules. It's not, the photo doesn't need to be that sharp, it doesn't need to be crisp, it doesn't need to be, so, but I do take the credit. If anyone tells me, if someone can teach me something, by all means, I will shake their hand and thank them at the end of the day. I try to improve it. I mean, that's the whole idea is. I mean, there were a few photographers that joined me as we moved along for this project, and same subject, 4 different angles, 4 different styles, and 4 different beautiful pictures. And that's what the beauty of the photography is.
Yeah. Nazi is saying your photos have inspired my family and I to another level.
Thank you very much, Nazi. Thank you. I think that's Nazi from Montreal. Yeah, she's
okay. Nilofer is saying perfectionist.
Oh. I try. As I said, there's no such a thing as perfect. And you can always better your best.
Fayaz Fai saying beautiful frames, Captain.
Mr. Legendary, Mr. Fayaz. I do miss him on Al Qudra side. Yeah, the guy's been very good. And as I said, it's a very popular subject to photograph. As you know, you do workshop and you go, it's everyone wants to take a picture of. You also thanked that kept the distance and the respect for not asking where did you find it, where's the location, I want to come and tag along, because they knew that I would not share, because I didn't spend 1,800 hours and 170 days, in a hot tent, just so I can just put it on a silver platter and pass it on to the next guy, just because he wants to take a picture of a Kingfisher. That's not the idea. Whoever wanted to take a picture of Elizabeth and the nature and the beauty of it, then was welcome to join. But if anyone wanted just to come and take a picture of a Kingfisher and put it on their portfolio. But the guys, the close circle that we have, they really respected that, and they never put me in an awkward position. So it was, I thank you.
That's good.
And we have one more beautiful message, Hermi, from Shabri.
Shabri.
Yeah. Shasti Sabri.
Okay, your photographs just inspired me to design a piece of jewelry blue and rust topaz with some bling. Creative juice flowing.
That's great. That's the whole idea. I mean, I got inspired by, I don't know, something else, and that led into this, and that's what we do. Maybe it's a music, maybe it's a poem, or maybe it's a sighting that inspires you to do something. Be creative. That's why I watch Nisha's live every day, because
Thank you. But
yeah,
being in as you spent 6 months with Elizabeth, and I'm here in Mara, so more or less same.
Yeah, I enjoyed your images, and both of you guys, the minimum processing tells a story. It's not zoom cropped into the subject. It's not just a lion's head. It's the whole environment around it, and I really enjoyed that. Hermes Blue.
Hermes Blue. Hermes Blue.
Matter of fact, the one that you have on a corner here, it is at the Kelvin 5000.
Okay.
The one with the fish, the one that was fish in the air, not in the air, the one that was holding the fish up, that is Hermes Blue.
Okay. I loved it.
Yeah.
So that was a fantastic session, Captain. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So
we are waiting for the next experiment with another king or queen or princess or prince.
Whatever challenging is, whatever heavy amount or whatever it is. It's just as long as it's challenging and it helps me learn something, by all means, I will do it.
Yeah, sure.
Great, guys. It was
Hopefully we can do some project together as well.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me for the second time. Please, I say this from the bottom of my heart. To all your viewers, especially the guys in India, please don't fall into the trap of different politics, religion, different ideas. Please be safe. Please think about the consequences. As Nisha was saying this afternoon, it's not going to affect you just for the next 2 weeks. It could affect you for the rest of your life. So please be safe. Please be safe. This is this seriously. Aaron is involved with the whole. One of our photographer friends here, he's involved with it, and he's deeply involved with different variant. And when he tells you to be careful, that means it is serious out there. So please be safe. Please take care of yourself, and let's just ride this wave off, and hopefully life will go back to normal.
Let's
A
hope.
new normal.
If it takes another 1 year before I go flying, my beard is going to come all the way down here. So
Let's hope things will be back to normal. At least somewhere in between, at least. Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah.
Better days ahead, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Guys, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Love you all.
Love you.
So that was Captain and the amazing journey. What a journey, man. From that last picture, which he showed as his first picture, and to that flights and the tossing of the, that fish, and the play of light, black background, we know Kudra. And how do he get that black background plus the yellow, plus the green, plus the white? What a journey.
I can imagine the satisfaction he get out of this from looking at the first initial day's picture and the last picture he got, the final product. That satisfaction is what you need after all.
Yeah, it's all about dedication, and you need to have that love beyond social media. Once you have that passion from the bottom of your heart to do something which you love, and the way he presented it was there in his every word.
Yeah, definitely.
And
this was
every
not for
picture.
a social media project. It was his personal project, which he did with a lot of love and passion. And he was successful in that. So I always tell people who crib about I am not getting likes, I am not getting followers. So I always tell them it's not about likes or following in social media. And I can still see a lot of people spending so much of money on Instagram to get followers and likes for their pictures. It's a waste, actually. So don't go behind that. Do something like how our captain did, small projects which will give you pleasure from your heart.
Yeah, like he said, anything can be a subject. We never tried our hands in macro. I'm trying to get a little bit out of it, and I'm finding so difficult to do macro than any other stuff. So anything, there is no particular lens for photography, there is no particular camera for photography. It's all about your dedication, the way you see things, the kind of time you are able to dedicate for this, and your love, your ethics, your passion. So all the best on that note. Plus one more thing, if you are in India, please be safe. Please, as Captain mentioned, please don't get into the trap of politics, neither on the religion. This is not the time to do that. Your life is most important, so please stay safe.
Best thing is use your common sense and stay away from all these things. Stay home, stay safe. People will do all religious activities, political activities, everything they will do. You have to take care of yourself and stay away from this. That's the best thing. Rather than fighting on social media and everywhere. Keep away from all these things. Stay safe.
Yeah.
And let's hope we'll be soon doing another session, interesting session with Captain once more.
With his new king
Yeah,
or queen.
always his program is very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, and next we'll be announcing the next session soon. Maybe tomorrow I'll do the posters and announce it. Till then, see you all. Bye bye. Take care.
And stay safe.
Stay safe.